Hey y'all, how y'all been? I've been good personally, but I haven't uploaded in 7 months. Now I'm not gonna make a huge stop story. You see the Pokemon on the screen, you probably know the video's gonna be about, and you saw the thumbnail too. So basically, Gholdengo has just been banned from National Dex, and this is actually impacting the meta very, very big. It's a very big impact. I'm going to talk about it, my opinions on it, on why I think the ban was justified, and how the meta can go from here. So basically, to get it all summarized up, Gholdengo was a Pokemon in National Dex that was like very, very, very relevant. I think that it was the most used Pokemon in a lot of months after the Terror Suspect, second one. Well, overall, it's a good Pokemon, man. You can't tell me this is a bad thing. You see that defensive typing, you see the bulk, you see the move pool, you see the strength, you see the ability, you see how much Terra types it can run. It can do it. It's just so good. And this is the problem. It's too good. It's too overwhelming on the builder. You have to go out of your way to use balance cores like Tinglu, Garg, Moltres, I don't know, Hisuian Samurai X offensive Pokemon that gets enabled by it since it beats Gold, and even if it would lose to Terra Gold and some Focus Blast variants, etc., etc. It was just like building with it was a pain. It was like very, very linear, since you usually just build balance, have Tinglu on it, have another gold check on it, call it a day. I think its leaving kind of opens up more balance options, but with some of the more egregious options that get enabled by this ban, I think that we might not get to see that variety for a little bit. Because if you see Corviknight spammed on teams, I don't think that's a good sign. So, and yeah, one of the reasons that Gold is banned because of its ability, Good Gold. As you know, blocks Defog because it's a status move and it lowers evasion. And I think people found this a little bit problematic, but I think this was a little bit overrated. I don't think it's the main reason Gold was broken, but we'll get into that later. Gold, with Good as Gold, kind of make Hazard Stack a little bit too obnoxious. Cause like you just lead your Spiker or your Rocker and then you get all those hazards up. You try to go into your Defogger like Zapdos or Torn, and then like bam, Gold comes in, nasty plots on you, and then just makes progress. I don't think that's pretty good. And then you just have to deal with it from there. If you don't have a Gold check, you will often be very, very not good into it. Even if you run soft checks to it, it would still bypass Ghost because of Terra, and that's another problem with it. It was able to run so many Terra types, they were all so obnoxious. Terra Ghost, Fairy, Flying, Water, Fighting, even some niche stuff like Dark, even some niche stuff like Dragon. All of those worked, and all of those beat its checks, which would supposedly do good into it. And then boom, Terra lose the game. While you can say this means it loses the ability to check Pokemon like Tapu Lele and Iron Valiant, I feel like you still have to deal with this, because you're often going to have those two dead if you have a Gold that's playing to sweep late game. Or any mon like that Gold would check in a kit with that. If that Gold usually checks with its normal type, but doesn't check with its Terra type. And they can just go from there. But in my opinion, now back to the hazard stack thing. I think hazard stacking with Gold is kind of overrated, because if you're not using a Defogger that can't beat Gold, why are you using a Defogger at all? You have Zapdos that can Volt Switch. If you're not using Volt Switch Zapdos, that's just not a good Zapdos. You have Torrentee, which can run Firium Z, Heat Wave, or just Heat Wave in general with some offensive investment. You got Moltres, which arguably isn't that good of a Defogger since it's so prone to knockoff and then just being rendered useless against hazard stack teams. Or you have some other stuff like Lando, which I don't think is that good of a Defogger. Gliscor, who would just get set up on and preyed on so easily by Gold since you just tear on it and then it's just gone. And then other stuff like Mandibuzz. Well, Mandibuzz is just off. I'm not even going to talk about that. But yeah, you get my point. If you were using a Defogger, it should have been beating Gold, and I think you wouldn't have that big of a problem with hazard stacking. I think more so the pressure that hazard stacking teams have in general kind of bluffed the hazards in question, because people were running boot spam and stuff, so I don't think it was that big of a pressing. Well, it was an issue, but not as pressing as people make it out to be. And now to its move pool stuff. Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Make a Ring, Recover. This is the set that kind of breaks Gold. Because you have set move, you have a weaker Draco Meteor Steel type clone that lets you just click buttons. It's really crazy how strong this move is. I think at +4 you could one hit KO some resist, but I don't remember. I think it was a Sweet Samurai. Recovered lets you maintain your bulk against bulkier teams, which just make you do excellent into them. And Shadow Ball is just Shadow Ball, since there's really... Ghost Stab has been broken since Gen 6, but that's common knowledge. So yeah. Should Gold have stayed? In my opinion, no. I don't think it should have stayed at all. I think it's staying for longer, have kind of just led to linear play. Like, it would just... The metagame would be so wrapped around it, it would kind of be unfunny. Building with it in mind is so obnoxious. Playing with it is obnoxious because it's really not that hard for Gold to have an opportunity against a lot of teams. Like if you build Fat and you weren't using a ground type like Ting, or if you weren't using something like Garg, which are mainly already good picks on Fat, but like you were kind of restricted to using one of the two or some other niche check that I forgot. No, he's not. You could use like weird Dondozo sets, but you would just get Shadow Ball dropped anyway, which is just not good. I don't think those will even check squad. I'm gonna take that out of the picture. So yeah, like Fat had to go out of its way to beat Gold. Even if you go out of your way, you would still lose. It's kind of crazy how that works, doesn't it? Isn't it? Whatever. But yeah, I don't think Gold was kind of healthy when it came to building. I don't think it was healthy when it came to playing with it. Yes, it checked a lot of stuff that is already kind of broken, but you know that broken checks broken is a fundamentally bad metagame, right? I don't think that's something that people don't know. If you have X broken checking Y broken, obviously you should nuke both X and Y both broken so you can get a better metagame without those broken to question. I think banning it kind of leads this weird offensive metagame where you have Iron Valiant and Lele just clicking buttons. But I think over time, once we get some suspects out of the way, some quick bans out of the way, hopefully we don't take any more time with that, I think we have a pretty good metagame on our hands sometime around December or January if everything goes right. Can't forget about DLC 2, so that'll probably shake some things up with that new Terra type as well. But yeah, Gold deserved the ban. I don't think there's much else I have to say about this. Like building with, like having Gold on a team as like a safety, an emergency button against Lele and stuff, and Sneasler and Zamazenta, especially Iron Defense Body Press Zamazenta. I'll talk about that later. Iron Valiant, it was very nice. His defensive profile was great. You could have beaten it by pressuring it enough offensively, but yeah, you know, Terra and all that. Just hazards. Yeah, I don't think it needed to be in the tier any longer, even with all those things that you could do to deal with it, quote unquote deal, because you know you're not really gonna deal with it well. But yeah, Gold deserved the ban, but now we have a lot of stuff that's enabled by it. You have Sneasler, which is no longer restricted to using Night Slash or Shallow Claw to just beat Gold. Now you can just run acrobatics and just go to town. You got Lele, who clicks absolute buttons, because now all the steals that are relevant are weak to Focus Blast. You can't just send them in so easily. And a Lele Scar Focus Blast is a lot more damage than you think. Zamazenta is no longer restricted to using Crunch and Iron Defense Body Press sets, which is really problematic. Because if this mon doesn't go out of its way to hit ghost types, you have a lot of broken stuff that you can use, like Heavy Slam on the Iron Defense Body Press sets, Wild Charge, Terra Electric to beat Zapdos, or you can just use Terra Electric in general to beat Zapdos and just substitute on it. And Iron Valiant, most egregious one that gets enabled by this, in my opinion. Specs doesn't have to run Shadow Ball. You don't really have to worry about using SD Knock. You don't have to go out your way to just check Gold with Terra Electric stuff. You just click Terra Fairy and then you just boom, 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 boom. No Steel type really checks you that well. Core of Ignite and Mega Scissor are both destroyed by Focus Blast. And I think the former just gets annihilated by Thunderbolt in general if you want to go for a safer option. Yeah. So basically, I think that's pretty much how... No, let's talk about the metagame, how I think it should go in the future. You know who I want banned? First, with this Gold ban, there's 3 quick bans that have to happen sometime this month. Baxcalibur, Ursaluna Blood Moon, and Sneasler. I think these 3 Pokemon staying in the tier for as long as they have is just absurd. Bax, just, there's nothing that beats Bax. Going out of your way to check this Pokemon is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure if you're in the National Dex community, you know why, but if you're not, I'll explain. So basically, you know why Bax has been OU, right? Sword Sand stuff, Bow, and DD stuff too. But now imagine this. The Sword Sand stuff in question now is a viable option. You now have Scale Shot to not have a Glalie Rush-ish. Not have something that's not Glalie Rush and have a little bit more power too. And multi-hit. And you just are not able to be crippled easily by passive, like, you can't get wisped. You can't get, Pex can't scald you if it wants to. Vrum can't wisp you if it wants to. It's just, and even if you could just beat them generally easily, and with a lot of tear options, you don't even have good revenge clean options. Cause like Lele will come in, you try to Moonblast, it would tear poison or steel ground on you and just kill you anyway, and then it would just sweep your entire team. Having a dedicated check the backs is usually a good idea. But if you're not using something extreme like Dondozo or something less extreme like Mega Scissor, which would still be beat by Terra Ground, but that's besides the point. I really think there's nothing in the tier that handles this Pokemon. It stayed for a little bit too long than I want it to be. I expected it to be quick banned. I wanted it to be quick banned as a council member. I'm trying to make that happen, but it's only been a few days. It's only been 1 day since school banned, so we have to wait a little bit. But I didn't start talking about it on the weekend though with other council members. But yeah, ban this. Ursaluna Blood Moon. This should have been quick banned like 2 weeks into DLC 1. I don't think this month's balanced at all. If you play, you know why this thing's just messed up. Blood Moon, CM, Earth Power, Moonlight. Basically, imagine Ursaluna but special and with longevity, and being able to just 6-0 teams better due to its increased longevity, and I think better bulk. Physically, not specially, because specially, I think your special bulk is pretty not that well. It's like a Hippowdon bulk. And Hippowdon is surprising special bulk, so yeah. It's an amazing tank with just has no checks. And his checks are just hard counters to it. Sub-CM Mega Latias, Substitute Mega Latios, Corviknight, Celesteela, those are the only valid checks to it now. Obviously, you could try like, no, really, you can't even try anything. You want to Terra Coast on this? Mind's Eye, and you get Blood Moon, and you die. This boss is just absurdly strong. It's too good of a tank. Calm Mind just bolsters it. Moonlight bolsters it. Its stabs just are not fun. You could, like, I don't understand why this thing's in the tier, man. I haven't seen some Hyper Voice sets to break more consistently, and I'm not gonna like seeing that. Because having an Ursaluna that doesn't, having an Ursaluna that isn't locked into a ground type move after using a normal type move really isn't the best. Because then I think you're gonna go into Zapdos and try to Hurricane, but no, you just get Hyper Voice on. Well, it doesn't make sense. You can Calm Mind on, but that's the point. But yeah, should be banned. Sneasler. I think this thing should have been banned by Ladder Tor, but kept it because a lot of other stuff. We had contrary opinions in the community. A lot of backlash was given because of it not being banned on the initial slate in June. But now I think it's a good candidate just to get out of the tier now. Its main check gold is gone now. We justified it staying in the tier because of it. And its usual checks like Lando, Pex, Glisk, now they don't have to just think that, oh, he's running Night Slash now and he's trying to hit gold. They can't hit us now, but now he can hit them because the gold's gone. You can freely run acrobatic stuff, and now it's kind of just low in the SD Sneasler. If it's at +2, you're kind of fucked if you're not using something like, because then your Lando's going to try to Earthquake and then you get acrobatics, or your Pex is going to try to Scald and you get acrobatics, and then you have to haze it though. Well, yeah. Just usually haze a boosted Sneasler if you have a Pex on your team. I don't think it's worth trying to Scald. I don't think it's worth haze Scald. I think you just haze recover, and yeah. But yeah, I think Sneasler's overstayed his welcome here in the tier, and I think it should be quick banned as well. Don't think of it being released from the Night / Shallow Claw things. It would run to be gold. That opens up a lot of other stuff for it to use. Like, I even saw my friend CeeLo using some weird protective pads pivot set, since gold isn't around to just completely invalidate that set. And that's kind of not, I've seen replays, that thing's kind of crazy. I think it's pretty fun because now you can just freely click Dire Claw and annihilate all the steals that would try to come in. Oh, beat the steals that would try to come in and try to wall you. Cough, cough, gold. But yeah, Sneasler doesn't need to be in the tier anymore. All these 3 Pokemon should be banned some point before December, hopefully. And we don't try to say some NDPL is going on. We can't interfere with that because there's literally finals week next week. And now, with all that out of the way, what should we do next after those quick bans? Personally, I want an Iron Valiant suspect after these quick bans because that mod just has 0 checks now. 0 reliable immediate checks now. Gold was the hardest counter to it. The gold was the hardest check / counter to it. And even if you could argue that Val will still beat it anyway because SD Knock, Terra Electric, Calm Mind, Terra Electric in general, Terra Steel in general, all of that. I think this mod's incredibly versatile and is made even more. It does have to use some other stuff like SD Knock kind of gets fade out of kind of is not that relevant anymore because you don't have to knock gold anymore. You can just click Specs, Moonblast, and then go to town. Fairy resistances that resist fighting as well kind of went down the drain if you want, unless you want to use Aegislash, and I don't think nobody really wants to use Aegislash that much. Like, I don't know, it's incredibly versatile. Gold Band made it a little bit less versatile, but now Valiant being versatile is bad, but Valiant being less versatile is even more bad because Specs is going to be everywhere, Calm Mind is going to be everywhere. Z movesets could be used too, but I don't know about that. But more so Specs. Specs Iron Valiant is incredibly unbalanced. Well, not unbalanced, more so just very, very hard to prep for. I would like to see it gone sometime before the year ends. I don't think it needs to stay in the tier anymore if gold gone. Maybe if we want a free gold once DLC 2 comes out, if there's a big enough change, I guess we could probably leave it alone. But until then, I think we gotta prioritize getting it out of the tier. I don't think Tapu Lele should be banned. I really don't, cause Lele, I don't know. Terra Psychic Lele is a little bit obnoxious with Scarf, but like, you should be having some pretty decent counterplay to it on every team. Unlike standard balanced teams, like, let's see, look up a steel type. You got Mega Scissor, you got Corvic Knight, you got Heatran, you got Celesteela, you got Jirachi, maybe, if you're really daring. You have stuff like Glow King, you have stuff like Ferrothorn, you can even run Sassy Alomola if you really want to. You got Tinglu, you got all of that to check Lele. I think it's really not that hard to prep for it and not really that hard to beat it. But this is just one day into gold meta, so I don't know about all that just yet. It may be broken. Well, not broken, maybe a little bit unbalanced, but for right now, I don't think it's that egregious. So yeah, I think that sums up all my thoughts on the gold ban, sums up all my thoughts on the metagame, what should be next, and what should be done in the future. I think I'll probably try to upload a little bit more, try to get back to uploading stuff since this metagame is pretty fun. I want to record about it more. Have uploaded in 7 months. I want to try to like get that allegation off my name that I don't care about my channel, because I low-key do, even if I haven't uploaded to it in a very long time. So yeah, Twitter's in the description. Artist is in the description for the thumbnail that I photoshopped. Yeah, have a good day, y'all.